welcome back to the channel, our Pro Enzo vids, and this is my round 6 NRL tips for 2024. I just gotta say, I'm donning the beautiful retro Manly jersey right here. We'll be wearing it on Saturday when I do travel to Auckland to watch the boys play. And yeah, I'm finally debuting it on a tipping video. So yeah, I hope you all like it. But yeah, look, it should be a good week of football. I really am keen for the games ahead. I think there's some blockbuster games like the Friday night game, the derby between both the Dolphins and the Broncos at Suncorp. That's going to be such an intense game. You know, Manly Warriors on Saturday, that's going to be a great game as well. That potentially could be a game of the round. I really do think that might be a really close game, as I'm predicting it to be. Cowboys Eels, the game after, has potential. And then I guess another game that could be good is Dogs and the Storm, the early 6 p.m. game on the Friday. But other than that, I think Dolphins and Broncos and Manly and the Warriors stand out the most out of the round 6 fixture. But before I do get into my tips, please be sure to like this video and do subscribe to the channel as well. So yeah, my goal was to get to 4,100 subscribers, and I did achieve that goal. So thank you to the new support and subscribers just recently. I guess the next goal is to get to that 4,150 mark now. A bit of a way off from that sort of mark, but yeah, that's the next goal for the channel. But without further ado, let's get into my round 6 NRL tips. Here we go. So we kick off with the Roosters and the Knights in Newcastle, and this will be another very tough game to tip in my opinion. I think both sides are in a similar sort of boat. You know, at the start of the year, Newcastle looked a whole lot worse than the Roosters did, because the Roosters in the opening couple of rounds looked really red hot. But I guess some injuries and form have just sort of made them collapse in form a bit. Whereas Newcastle, after that win against the Dragons, would be giving them a lot of confidence, especially in the wet. And I've got to say, shout out to the Newcastle Knights fans that sort of braved out the wet and the wild conditions there. I mean, to get 9,000 or something, like 9,000 people at the game, despite that weather, pretty incredible actually. So yeah, the Newcastle Knights fans love their team and they travel. So yeah, no, good on them. But yeah, this game's in Newcastle, obviously. Newcastle Knights often play well back in Newey too. The Roosters, I believe, have an alright record in Newcastle, apparently. So yeah, it makes it be a very interesting game. I saw that the Roosters have Joseph Marner at fullback with Tedesco out with concussion. Connor Watson's playing 5'8" with Sam Walker. I think Sam Walker's out. I think Connor Watson and Watson and Keary are together, and Walker's out. And yeah, I think the Roosters have a lot of changes for me, so that's why I'm tipping Newcastle to win. I think their team's a bit more settled, and yeah, I think that win against the Dragons gives them a lot of boost, like a big boost, you know. If Roosters had a bit of a full strength sort of side, and no Dom Young either, I would have probably tipped them, but in the time being, I will tip Newcastle to win. Let's go a scoreline of 26 points to 20. I think a few points we scored. And first try scorer, I am backing, let's go, the winger, Tom Jenkins. Alrighty, on to the very next game on the Friday. It is the Melbourne Storm taking on the Bulldogs at Amy Park in Melbourne. And funnily enough, the Bulldogs, out of most clubs in the competition, have a better record in Melbourne too. Last year, as we remember, they beat the Bulldogs. They beat the Storm in an upset game in round 2 last year. I think the score was 26-12. And most people did not see that coming, you know. I think everyone really had Melbourne to win that game, including myself. But yeah, the Bulldogs upset them, and I'm not saying it will happen again, but like, you know, that's like, I guess a bit of motivation for the Bulldogs to go into Melbourne and put that same effort in. So yeah, I think this game might be a bit closer than we think actually. The Storm team for me is still looking pretty good. They were probably a bit, I guess, annoyed maybe that they let in 32 points against the Broncos, but they did enough to win though, winning 34-32. But I guess their defence, especially under Bellamy, is something that they'll work on all week. So I'm expecting a better defensive display at home by the Storm. As for the Bulldogs, yeah, they beat the Roosters just though, 30-26. It's funny, at half time they were leading 26-0. So I don't know how the Bulldogs nearly bottled a lead like that. If they did, it would have been one of the worst comebacks they've led in history, I think. But thankfully for them, they held on and they won for their old boys in 2004 grand final team as well. That team back then was watching them play that last Friday. So yeah, I guess Bulldogs spirits would be pretty high, but I think Storms will be higher. So I'll go to Storm to win. And like I said, it'll be a closer game than expected. So I'll go the Stormers win by 10. I could see a scoreline of 20-10, to be fair. And my first try scorer will be through... let's go Lysia Katoa in the back row. I think he might score first, but Stormers win 20-10. This will be good. It is the Broncos and the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium, and what a game this will be. As a neutral, I'm pretty excited for this one, actually. I do remember the very first time last year when these two sides did play, and the intensity and the hype was already there, and you could tell there was a bit of hatred. It was like all the ex-Broncos players were at Dolphins, ready to get revenge over the Broncos, and it was like Broncos were trying to poach some Dolphins players too, like Dean Mariner from memory last year, and that's the time when the Dolphins purchased Hobie Farnworth and Tom Flegler off the Broncos too. So, yeah, it's building up, the rivalry, I feel like, but not where it should be right now. But it's building up. But yeah, last week the Broncos fell short to the Storm. Definitely could have won, and without Adam Reynolds for most of the second half, it was a big effort by the Broncos to only lose by 2 points to the Storm in Melbourne, and a place they haven't won since 2016 in Melbourne. So they're very close to Broncos. But yeah, look, I think they are still a good enough team to score plenty of points even without Reynolds. But Reece Walsh is back. That's a big win for the Broncos. Reece Walsh is back, so once Reece Lightning's there, anything's possible. And for the Dolphins, since that round 1 game when they got thrashed against the Cowboys, the Dolphins and Wayne Bennett have just been, wow, they've been incredible, actually. They've been really good. I think, after that round 1 game, I think the Dolphins would have been hurting big time. So for them to go to, I guess beat Dragons 38-0, last week win against the Tigers, just beat all these sides and just keep playing well. It's a big effort by the Dolphins to turn it all around like that. So yeah, I'm sure they'll be up for this game as well. But wow, this is tough. My tip for this game, it's tough, but I will tip the Broncos. I'll play it safe, but I do sense a little upset by the Dolphins, but I think Broncos at home should be a bit too good. And I know Adam Reynolds is a big blow, but I think Reece Walsh being back will give them enough energy to get the job done. So I'll go the Broncos to win. I'll go by only 6 points. I'll go Broncos 20, Dolphins 14. So Broncos 20, Dolphins 14. First try scorer. Let's go, Solon Cobbo. Here we go. Bring it on. It is the Manly Sea Eagles up against the New Zealand Warriors this Saturday at 3 p.m. And this will be a really good game. As I said earlier, this could be game of the round, potentially game of the round. So I am keen for it, and I'm expecting a big game by both sides. Now, if we do remember, last year I went to New Zealand for the very first time, and went to Go Media Stadium for the very first time too. And yet again, this year, I am going to go back there. And I'm keen to go back to New Zealand for the second time ever. It was a fun place to visit. I loved Auckland, really did. So I'm excited to go back there again and watch the boys play. So keen as. But look at the sides and how form's going. Now, the Warriors, they smashed the Rabbitohs last week, 34-4. And I didn't watch the full game because I was actually at Manly and Penrith that game last week, but I watched the highlights and saw the first half of the game actually before I left to go to the Manly Penrith game, and the Warriors look so dangerous. Like, their offloads, their speed men like Sean Johnson, and their speed men like Sean Johnson, CNK, RTS, just so dangerous. They ran laps around the Rabbitohs last Saturday, and the Warriors obviously played really well, and they'll be back in New Zealand with a full sold out Mount Smart. So yeah, wow, they are going to get behind their team all right. So I guess us Manly fans that will be there will have to somehow push through, which we will. And as for Manly, us, look, big win against Penrith last week. It was an incredible win. So I'm sure our confidence will be pretty high as well. But yeah, I guess the real question is, can our energy back up, against them, against the Warriors this time around, sorry. But looking at our team, Ruben Garrick's out because of that Category 1 concussion, which is very unfortunate for Ruben. So that means Ben Trbojevic, who was a star last week in the centres against Penrith, will keep his spot there. And fair enough, his defence was really good against Taylor May. So I'm hoping the same can be said against RTS this Saturday. And Waddell starts in the back row and Ethan Bullimore off the bench. So yeah, that's how we line up. The rest is the same. My tip for this game, look, I'm not going to go to New Zealand. I'm not tipping my boys, so I'll go Manly to win. I'll go Manly in a high-scoring game, 32-24. I think it'll be plenty of points, plenty of attack will be displayed. So yeah, expect a big game by both sides. But Manly to win 32-24. First try scorer, Tommy Turbo. He has scored about 9 to 8 tries in his last 5 games against the Warriors from memory. So yeah, I'm backing the boys to win. Moving on to the very next game on the Saturday, it is the Eels up against the Cowboys at Combank Stadium there in Parramatta. Yeah, look, this game is another really tough one to tip in my opinion. I know Cowboys, as of recent, are probably the better team on form, but Parramatta at Combank might be what they need. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. Parramatta's been terrible recently against the Raiders. They were just terrible. Like their attack looks so one-dimensional. Without Mitchell Moses, they seem to lack a lot of answers in the halves, and I mean they lack it big time because it doesn't seem like Dylan Brown's a scrum half. Doesn't seem like Blake. I know he's young, but Blaze Talangi probably isn't the right guy to have that much expectation to be put on him at this time around. If you get what I mean. And then look, I guess this weekend they've got Dejan Assi partnering Dylan Brown in the halves, so it'll be quite interesting to see how them two combine. But yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see till game day does kick off. But yeah, I mean, I saw Sevo got dropped for Parramatta, so probably the right call. Big call by Brad Arthur. And yeah, Harper comes into the centres and Bailey Simons into the wings. So I guess it's some changes, so they're going to hope it's for the better. And for the Cowboys, their team seems to be 1 through 17 apart from the unfortunate injury of Zach Labour, who's out for the rest of the year with an ACL injury. So best wishes to Zach Labour, and hopefully recovery all goes sweet and well. And that means Tom Chester replaces Labour in the centres. And I've got to say, Tom Chester in that Dragons game against Moses Sully in the centres was really good. So if Tom Chester can play like that again, then yeah, wow, he'll be a great replacement for now. My tip for this game, though, I think Cowboys will be too strong. Parramatta, for me, just don't know what to do in attack without Moses, it feels like. So I'll tip Cowboys to be too strong at Combank. Let's go. Cowboys 26, Parramatta 18. I think they'll be a bit too strong, Cowboys. So yeah, Cowboys win, first try scorer. Parramatta will score first, though. I think the back rower, Bryce Cartwright, in his return will score, but Cowboys to win. Now, we move on to the very last game of Super Saturday, and this game, well, this will determine a lot for Jason Dimitri. It is the Rabbitohs and the Sharks playing each other at Accor Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Saturday night. Yeah, well, I mean, this is huge for the Rabbitohs because apparently, and I guess there's a lot of news that we can't trust these days, but apparently, Jason Dimitri will be sacked if they win or lose, no matter what. Now, I don't know if that will actually happen or not, but yeah, I mean, I do think, though, he'll be sacked very soon. If it's not now or this weekend, it's going to be the next couple of weeks for sure. But, yeah, I guess for that Seahawks team, though, they've made some changes, and yeah, they had to make some changes because they're not playing well at all. So it looks like Jai Gray will replace Latrell Mitchell at fullback because, yeah, Latrell's out for those 3 weeks, I think it is, for that elbow to the head on Sean Johnson, which was just so stupid to do in the first place. So that means, yeah, Jai Gray will debut at fullback, and yeah, look, Jai Gray is a really exciting young talent. I watched him live in the Charity Shield game against the Dragons, and yeah, probably the top 3 player on ground in that game. So yeah, I'm excited to see how he does go. Damien Cook dropped. I mean, yeah, make some changes, but you're dropping Damien Cook over Cody Walker. Don't agree with that, but we'll see how Peter Mamazelos goes because I know he's the future of the Rabbitohs. And yeah, it seems like Talis Duncan's also out as well. So yeah, well, I mean, JD's made some changes, but it doesn't seem like they've been accepted very well. But as for the Sharks, their team seems to be 1 through 17. Doesn't seem to be much disruption to their team, which is why I'll tip the Sharks to win. I think Sharks are in a lot more of a better sort of mindset to play footy, whereas the Rabbitohs are just sort of, I don't know, trying to pick up their scraps and trying to pick up their season again. So I'll go the Sharks to win. Sharks 13 plus. I think Sharks might actually smash them here, unfortunately, for Rabbitohs fans. So I'll go the Sharks to win. Sharks to win 38-6. I think they might get absolutely clapped, the Rabbitohs. I hope they go better, but this will put the final nail into the coffin for JD. So Sharks 38-6. First try scorer, Ronaldo Mulitalo. Moving on to the first game of Sunday out of 2, it is the Tigers and the Dragons at Campbelltown Stadium. And yeah, this will be another tight game, I feel like. It won't be a 13 plus win for either side. I do believe it'll be quite close. But based on recent form, the Tigers probably are a bit more, no, not better, but just I guess a bit more. Well, they're showing me a bit more anyway. I think Dragons have been okay, but Dragons are that sort of team this year. I believe will be up for some games, but not up for some games. You know, they're a very inconsistent side, the Dragons. And yeah, I think that's just how the Dragons will be this year. Very inconsistent side. We'll beat some good sides, but we'll lose to some bad sides too. That's just how the Dragons are. But there's no doubt they'll be up for this game. I think that loss to the Knights last week was a bit of a shock, and that would hurt them still. But yeah, as a result, that's just how the Dragons are. They're an inconsistent club, but they do have a lot of potential though, and they will get better over time under Flano. And yeah, for the Tigers, I guess, yeah, as I said before, they were never terrible in that game against the Dolphins. They just weren't good enough. But that win against the Parramatta Eels the week before on the Easter Monday was great. So if they can play like that again, well, I give them a good chance as well. But I am tipping the Dragons, though. I think Dragons have named a better team. I think the Tigers will struggle without Lachlan Galvin again or no Lars Hufanu. And Jaden Sullivan's probably the next best half there to replace those guys at 5'8". But yeah, we'll see how Caesar and him combine together. And yeah, speaking of Jaden Sullivan, he's versus his old club. So yeah, Bud versus Dragons, eh? We'll see how that goes. But yeah, Dragons to win. I'll go Dragons to win. Let's go 22-16, and first try scorer will be through Charlie Staines. And now the final game of round 6, it is the Canberra Raiders and the Gold Coast Titans at GIO Stadium in Canberra, the nation's capital. Yeah, well, look, where do we start? The Raiders have looked really good this year so far. Really fit, really strong. You know, they're probably a side that most people like myself have written off, and I do regret it big time because Canberra look awesome so far this year, and yeah, it could be a real, I guess, smoky to do some good things if they get it right. But yeah, it's still only round 6, so yeah, plenty of weeks and months to go till this season. It does end. But yeah, for the Gold Coast Titans, on the flip side of them, wow, they've been terrible, absolutely shocking. But look, they were better against the Cowboys, but again, they can't defend. They can't defend. You know, they can't. You know, I guess hold their line out for too long. They seem to have a very weak edges, and very leaky edges too. So until Des fixes that, I don't know where the Titans win and how they win this game. It's in Canberra, and the way Canberra beat the Parramatta Eels too makes me wonder, how will they beat the Titans? I mean, this could be a lot worse for the Titans, and probably a lot of a bigger win now for the Raiders on Sunday. So it could be an even bigger win for the Canberra Raiders. I'll go Canberra to win. Won't be 50, but I do believe they'll win well. I'll go the Raiders to win. I'll go, you know what, Canberra 36, Titans 18. I do think the Titans will turn up again and be like how they were against the Cowboys, but Canberra will be too strong. But yeah, Canberra should flog them though. And first try, let's go with Xavier Savage. Been loving Savage recently. His form's been great. But that brings an end to my round 6 NRL tips for 2024. Hope you all enjoy, and good luck to your teams this weekend. I'll be in New Zealand across the whole weekend, so keen to go back to New Zealand, and yeah, hopefully I see Manly get a nice victory, hopefully. But yeah, enjoy the week, and yeah, good luck to your teams.